Hey guys, bonus video for today. So this is something that I think they are, again, Pokemon Trainer 123 or Trader 123. They wanted to know what my ideas for investments was. And as far as Pokemon, this is what I'll tell you. Remember the other video where I told you about a PSA 10 Balloons Pikachu? Only had 18 PSA 10 copies. Now that Balloon Pikachu was from CoroCoro Comics. It was the glossy finish. It was Japanese, again, from 1997. There's another Balloon Pikachu that has some type of airline on it, and you see an airplane in the background. That's not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about as the, again, 97, glossy. It'll say that on the PSA Authentic. Um, and you could go to PSA's website and Google that. 18 PSA 10 copies, and I think that is between 700. It should be between 700 and 1,000. It's not. Right now, it's going for, you probably get it for 500. There's an auction right now. I think the bid is 200 with like 6 days left, and that even though that I enjoy that card and I love that card, and I own two of those PSA 10 copies, there is a there are cards that are much rarer, much more scarce, because even though that only has 18 PSA 10 copies, it has 86 copies total in the pop report. So if you wanted that same artwork, that same beautiful card, you could get it and pay a fraction of the price for it, or for have some whitening on the back. Something that you don't really look at anyway. So here I'm going to talk about two other cards that I have in my possession right now. One is from the Tropical Tidal Wave. They went through, I think, 2010. This is a quarterfinalist. This is something that is, this particular card right here. Are these cards the Tropical Tidal Wave that went from, I think, 04 through 2010? Again, I think those are the years. They're handed out every year at these World's Champions tournaments, and they are given out to the staff members out there. They're given out to the top 32, the top 16, the semi and quarterfinalists, and then they have a finalist. They didn't have a champion until 2012, I believe. And right, what you have is cards with, you can get cards with this same artwork minus the stamp. You can get, again, cards with that same artwork, again, minus the stamp, for next to nothing, less than $100. Graded PSA, whatever. Now this card that it says has a quarterfinalist, there's only 3 of these cards in the pop report, not 3 PSA 9 copies, although they all happen to be PSA 9, but there's no 10s. With these types of cards, I don't want to say grade doesn't matter, because it does as far as pricing goes. You're always going to pay a premium the higher that you go, but there's 3 of those cards. Now, obviously, if you get the staff, what you're really paying for is that quarterfinalist stamp, because that makes it unique, or uniquer, because it's such a niche. You're going to have staff, which you could probably buy 2010, I don't know, maybe between $500 and $1,000. As you go on in years, the cheaper it'll get. But actually, 2008 and 2009, they're relatively easy to find, and you can find them pretty cheap. But the staff you could find between probably 500 and 1,000. The top 16, top 32, we don't see a lot of these cards, because again, there's 3 of these authenticated in the pop report in the world. So there's so few of these. These are exceedingly rare. Unique artwork, the unique stamp. There's so much that goes into them. They're only handed out at those tournaments. You cannot get those with just cash. You cannot get those from a pack. You can't go to your local distributor and get them. You have to, in order to get this card, you have to win a certain amount of rounds in local tournaments. You have to qualify to go to Worlds, and you have to place in the top 32 at these. It is insanely hard to get there. It's insanely hard to win. It's insanely hard to get these cards. And aside from doing that, you have to buy them from other people. Like, sometimes they'll sell the cards because they don't care. But that's what happens. And again, there's 3 of them in the world. So I have this on eBay, I think, for $3,000 or best offer. Now, I don't want to sell this card. In my opinion, this is probably worth more than that. I did it because I have other things I could do with that money. And if someone's pay that they can. Again, with these cards, it's kind of just data points. There's no real, okay, this month selling for this month selling for that. They're sold so infrequently that this is something I got, I think, for $400 or $500. And this is something that I don't want it. If someone buys it for three, in order to maintain my good eBay rating and in order to maintain good relationships, be professional, I will sell it. But there's a good part of me that if they buy it, I'm gonna say, like, you know what, I'll take the negative review and just because but again, the coronavirus has hit. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. The virus has hit everyone exceedingly hard. My first business is like not up in flames. I'm in banking on the side or as my main business, and this is kind of my side gig. But um, this is something that I don't know if I'd be able to ever get again without paying double or triple of what I sold it for. Now, moving on past that one, at 2012, they finally started introducing the champion. This is just a semifinalist, not a champion. Each one of these cards are going to have Pikachu and Psyduck in them. Psyduck will be in the background there. Yeah. And then this one as a semifinalist, there's only 4 copies in the Pop Report. I don't know if all 4 are PSA 9, but they, again, grade doesn't really matter because there's so few of them. You get what you can get. I know there's a lot of people, me especially, that'll say, like, not first edition, not PSA 10. Maybe I'll take a 9 just like for investment, but I'm very much a purist when I want PSA 10. I want gem mint copies, but for these, take the cookies as they come. You have to be able to, I don't want to say settle, like, take what's given to you. Like, beggars can't be choosers. If you want these cards, whatever grade they come in, you get them. Now this one I think I might have for 5,000 because again, there's so few of these out there, and 2012 is a little bit special, I think, because they started introducing that champion stamp, and because they are, again, all of them have unique artwork, but because 2012 was just a crazy year, and it's just I think 2012 and 2016 was also pretty crazy, and it's like every 4 years. But these cards are so, well, again, depending on the year and the card, some of them are playable. Some of them that you could actually, again, you wouldn't play this. The actual card that is given without the stamp, some of them are very playable, and that's what a lot of these people that go to these tournaments, oh, that's really good. I could use that. Outside of the Pokemon trading card game, like the one where you actually use the cards to battle on that Game Boy game, I don't have much experience with battling. So I don't know. Flip a coin. Discard all trainer stadium cards your opponent has in play. Maybe that one is okay. For 2010, this one says, once during each player's turn, that player may draw cards until he or she has 7 cards. His or her hand, he or she does it. Now, this, if you're utilizing a bunch of cards, you have energy, you have trainer card, you have, evolution, and you only have a couple cards in your hand, and you want to play this seems very playable to me. So that's probably why also it gets a premium. But if you're wanting investment advice I paid, I think, $600 something for this card. I would not sell it for if someone came to me right now with $2,500, I'll give 20. No. Minimum $3,000. Again, I have it up for 5. And if once I sell this card, I will never get it for that price again. Generally, what happens, and again, we're in uncharted territory with the virus, but once you sell cards like these, they're almost always going to go up in value. Again, the staffs, because there tend to be a lot of them, the staffs tend to, keep like between 100 and 150 depending on the year. 2013, 2008, 2009, yeah, that a lot of those are a little easier to get, but the ones that are the semifinalists, quarterfinalists, anything that has finalists in it, you get a premium. Obviously, champion will get a huge premium, and then you're going to have the top 16 and top 32. That's my advice for if you're going to invest. Again, it's buy and hold. Don't buy this right now and then expect to sell it again in 6 months, even a year. You would want to be able to hold this for as long as possible, and that's generally that's what's best. That's what's best in stocks. This was best in crypto. This was best in this, and um, aside from that, those investments again, those are the big ones where you can afford several $100s, even several $1,000s for it. A lot of PSA nines. PSA nines have a lot of room to grow. The anything Charizard, anything that people really like. WotC first edition PSA 9 holos. Those are the ones that are growing. And I'm also seeing a lot of growth for the PSA 7s and PSA 8s. Because again, as that 10 grows, the 9 is going to grow along with it. Not always in unison. The 10 might grow first and then the 9 might grow. The 9 might grow and then 10. But as those cards grow and people just getting into the collection hobby, or people that are just being able to go and say, hey, I only have like an extra $100 a month, or not even that, and they want really good artwork, and they want to start their collections, they don't want to be spending hundreds or thousands or even 100. If you can get, let's say, a Hitmonlee from Fossil Set, PSA 9, you can get for under $100. You can get that for like $70. And if you want to be able to get that same artwork, save even more money, and get it for like $50 as an 8, now you're going to be able to get that and another. So you can get 2 cards that month instead of 1 if your budget is $100 a month. If it's not, if it's $70 and you want to spend that all on 1 card, again, you get a 7, get the 8. That's what a lot of people are doing. I've seen it because I've seen the growth. I've seen people not being able to sell 7s years ago. 7s is like, ugh, who wants that? And now it's like, well, these cards are getting way too expensive. Let's and you know the 9s are a little iffy also as far as money goes. They're just growing a lot. I don't want to have to regret that decision, saying like, oh, I bought that and then I should have bought this one because I could buy 2 of these. Again, 7s or 8s, I think there's a lot of room for growth there as well. Because as people that have been in the hobby and can see trends and they know what they're doing, and typically the longer you're in the hobby, usually the more capital you have, just because you're focusing on trying to save so much money for those bigger cards and the cards that are worth more. They're not going to try for 7 or 8. They're going to try for the 9s or 10s. But again, there's nothing wrong with having PSA 7s or PSA 8s. They're still really great cards. They're near mint, and they'll have maybe some whitening on the back, maybe a dent that you can't see. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't do that just because I don't have the space. I don't have the space for 9s, but I'm still buying them because, again, I see opportunity. I'm starting to, turn my collection. Like, okay, I bought this for this. I could sell it for this. I'll do that and buy more. But that's my opinion. Again, anything Charizard will probably go up. And again, this is just my opinion. I don't have a magic 8-ball or crystal ball or that thing that Peregrine Duke took in Return of the King and Gandalf yelled at him for it. I don't have any of those. I have Dashi. Dashi is my... I rub her head and I say, what should I buy? And she doesn't say anything because she's a statue, but it helps me. Anyway, that is my video for the day. You're welcome, Pokemon Trainer 123 Trader. I don't know. I should really get that set. But that's fine. You guys have a good one, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.